What's up, guys? It's your boy Santos the Destroyer, and I'm back with another What If, or else more or less a part two of What If Naruto and Gaara were brothers, blood brothers. So, a quick recap. We last ended off as Gaara just sacrificed his life, or seemingly sacrificed his life, to protect Naruto and Sasuke from the ice needle senbon thing that Haku threw. Um, and yeah. So Naruto, Sasuke, rage just explodes out of both of them. Um, so Sasuke gets two Tomoe Sharingan on each eye. Naruto uses the Nine Tails power, bodies Haku, and then yeah, Haku still dies. Zabusta still dies. Everything, all that goes back to the same. So Gaara heals up at I forgot the guy's name. At his house. And then they head back to Leaf. And then now we're into the oh so famous Chunin exams arc. So Kakashi enrolls his team into the Chunin exams, and as on the first day, they're confronted by the Sand siblings, Kankuro Tamari, and my original name, which is probably terrible, Denga of the Desert. I just thought the D's would work together. I'm sorry. So Denga has the same interest in Sasuke as Canon Gaara does, and he also has an interest in this timeline's Gaara. So Rock Lee, hearing about like Gaara and stuff and how he's a prodigy as well, challenges Sasuke and Gaara and bodies them both. It's really not even a debate. Um, First exam starts and Gaara cheats the same way that Denga does, except with the third eye. So Gaara uses his sand eye. Denga uses iron sand eye. This time, what changes in canon is they do not trust Kabuto, as as both Sasuke and Gaara feel something is wrong with him. Um, 10th question. Um, Everything goes the same except when Naruto pees in the forest. He's not as dumb and doesn't get pulled for the fake because he has a brother and he's actually kind of smart. Not He's just not an idiot. He's like decent. He's like a 2 in intelligence. He's not like a 1. There's a big difference between a 1 and a 2. They encounter Orochimaru and Sasuke gets the curse mark. Now I was wondering if I should give Gaara the curse mark as well, since he doesn't have the Nine Tails to prevent him from getting it, or should he not get the cursed mark? But I'm going to assume, unless you want me to do like a part 3, a part 2.5 where he does get the curse mark, I'm going to assume he does not get it. Orochimaru still takes note of Gaara's iron sand and says it's extremely interesting. Sasuke and Naruto are knocked out like in canon. Gaara does a much better job at defending them, however, than Canon Sakura does, and uses his iron sand to keep the Sound Ninja at bay and confine them until either Lee arrives or he runs out of chakra, which could take a while because he's Uzumaki. He can literally like spam stuff. So Lee still comes. Team 10 comes. Sasuke breaks Zaku's arms, but since in this time there is no Sakura, so there's no holding him back. Sasuke kills all 3 members of Team Dosu, which I do believe he would have done since there's no Sakura to like tell him to stop. They also fight against Team Oboro because none of them have anything special against Genjutsu. They barely get to the tower in time, and the third Hokage still calls for the preliminaries as there's just too many people. For this instance, I used a random number generator to get everything. Kabuto still pulls out like in canon, and Shino's fodder teammates don't need to be mentioned, so they pull out. So our people in the tuning exams are Shikamaru, Shino, Tenten, Hinata, Ino, Yori, Naruto, Tamari, Misumi, Rock Lee, Choji, Sakura, Sasuke, Neji, Kiba, Kankuro, Dengo the Desert, and then Gaara. And I did all these matches with a random number generator. So our first match is Shikamaru versus Naruto. Second match is Choji versus Rock Lee. Third is Hinata and Ino. Fourth, Sasuke Tamari. Fifth, Tenten Denga. Sixth, Yoroi versus Kiba. Seventh is Kankuro versus Misumi, which happens to be a canon match even though I did a random number generator. Eighth is Neji versus Shino. And ninth is Gaara versus Sakura. So the matches with easy winners. Naruto's match, just because of sheer volume, and Naruto would just be able to out outnumber him, because Shikamaru doesn't have the shadow range that his son has, that Shikadai has, and he can't really spam it like Shikadai can. So Naruto takes the win, and if he does get caught, he'll just break it with like the Nine Tails power or something. And even if he hit his head like he did against Keenan Cannon, I believe Naruto would be able to overpower that one hit, and then Shikamaru would just give up anyway. Two is Lee. I think personally, third or fourth gate Lee could just overpower the human boulder. Fifth match is easy. Dang of the Desert absolutely demolishes Tenten. Guy would have to step in after maybe a couple minutes. The most I'm giving her is like 5. Sixth match is I'm giving it to Kiba, because Yoroi had the chakra drain, but Kiba would just outspeed him. That Fang over Fang is dangerous. 7's Kankuro, because it's the same as Canon. Matches with more difficult winners. Hinata versus Ino. If Ino has her mind transfer jutsu, can land it, Hinata just does not have the will or the crazy inner personality like Sakura to defend against it. But it would be difficult, because if Hinata could like close the gap between her and Ino fast enough to be able to land her Jukin, because if Hinata can land her Jukin, then it's over. So if Hinata can basically keep Ino on her toes and without steady time to use the Mind Transfer Jutsu, then I think Hinata could win. And I just think more often than not Hinata would win. So I'm giving it to Hinata. Fourth match, Sasuke versus Tamari. I would say that since he's not fighting first like he did in Ken, he's fighting fifth. I think he would have had time to get his curse mark sealed. But that's the only reason why he wins, is because he fights fifth rather than first. If he fought first like he did in Canon, he would not win, because his curse mark would just be killing him, and Tamari is a brutal opponent. It would be a difficult fight though. It would be a good fight and difficult fight, but Sasuke would win in the end, I think. I do believe Sasuke would win in the end. Alright, Neji versus Shino. This is an interesting one, because I don't exactly know when Neji learned the rotation, but I think if he learned it during the 1 month of training or not during the 1 month of training, I still believe he could win. So I think though that Neji's Byakugan could tell the difference between a bug clone and a normal clone, because the bug clone just bugs, whereas a normal clone has a chakra system. But I guess it'd be difficult because the bugs may obscure his chakra system, but the normal one would still have some chakra points that should be visible. So Shino would probably try something tactical, such as trying to put him in the same situation he put Zaku in, like forfeit, you cannot fight or something. But this is the key point. This is why I believe Shino would ultimately lose the match. Is because since he was not on Team 8, but instead on a team with some fodder, he would have no experience combating the Byakugan or dealing with the Byakugan at all, which may give Neji just the leg up he needs. So with Shino's taijutsu being so weak and Neji being able to discern where the bugs are coming from with this nearly 260-degree vision, and his Byakugan allowing to tell the real from the fakes, I think Neji would eventually either decimate his colony with rotation, and if he doesn't have rotation, he'd eventually tag the real Shino, and then just put him out. So I'd give this one to Neji. And then the final match that is in the preliminaries that's worth going into any detail is Gaara Uzumaki versus Sakura Haruno. So, since Kurenai is Sakura Sensei, and it's stated multiple times that Sakura had a natural aptitude for Genjutsu, her Genjutsu would be pretty good. And he could be in a really bad spot if he fell for it. Especially when she gets really tricky with the normal clone jutsus and just her raw strength and stuff. But there is a difference between Could and Would. Remember, Gaara has no problem breaking out of Genjutsu since he doesn't have Kurama, like his brother does. And his Iron Sand is a more than capable defense against her raw strength. I see two endings. A simple one or a funny one. The simple ending is he hides behind a wall of iron sand or something, dispels the Genjutsu discreetly. He can tell the normal clones from the fakes. I think that's how the clone jutsu works because they don't have shadows. So he pretends he can't tell. He pretends he's falling for the Genjutsu. And then when she hits him, it turns out that it's an iron sand clone. He does the body flickers behind him, flickers behind Sakura, chops to her neck, knocking her out. And then the funny ending is that Gaara asks Sakura if it's true that she has a crush on Sasuke from Gaara's team. She goes bright red and admits she does. Then Gaara goes on a rant, a mini tirade about how he was decently good looking and he got grades that were just as high as Sasuke's. And then Sakura, she tells him, though he may be all of that, you have an idiot for a brother, and I don't think any of the girls here can put up with that. You two are a combined package. We have you, but we don't want to deal with. Sakura points to Naruto, him. Naruto is visibly angered by this, and Gaara is depressed just like Hashirama. The classic spots of depression. Gaara looks out, tears in his eyes, and boldly proclaims, if you cannot deal with my brother, that means you never truly loved me. Body flickers behind Sakura, just out of fury, kunai to her throat. Maybe leaking a bit of bloodlust. I wouldn't say if any. And so Naruto congratulates his brother for his win. The numbers are cast for the finals, which would take place again in the month of training. So our finalists are Naruto, Rock Lee, Hinata, Sasuke, Denga, Kiba, Kankuro. He still pulls out, just like in canon, Neji and Gaara. So our matches. Sasuke versus Gaara. Kankuro, technically Hinata because he pulls out, versus Neji. Kiba versus Rock Lee, and then Denga versus Naruto. And that will do it for part 2 of What If Gaara and Naruto Were Blood Brothers. If you liked it, then press that like button. Subscribe if you want more content like this. It really helps me out. And comment below any questions you have. I'm asantosthedestroyah, and I'm out.